flights are based on the food that we have to offer the bird as rewards. These 2 mice are presented on perches as rewards each time the bird follows sounds correctly. And after all the allotted pieces of food have been eaten, consumed, we don't ask the bird to work for free. So y'all are welcome to try to get pictures, ask any questions. I can't guarantee the photogenic quality of the bird. It's sometimes a little bit restless on the glove. So
I have a mouse.
Picture you want to snap pretty quickly.
Videos are allowed, are they? Are videos allowed?
They're allowed.
Okay, good.
Yep, bird isn't going to know the difference between a picture and a video.
Yeah. Until he sees himself on YouTube.
Or in a history fair video.
How much does it weigh? This bird weighs roughly between 1 pound and 1.5 pounds.
Male or female?
We don't know for sure the gender of this particular bird. Females are usually a little bit heavier than the males. Sometimes there is a little bit of difference in the coloring of the underparts of the bird as well. But there's nothing on this bird that's definitive enough to know if it's male or female. We could take a blood sample if we wanted to know for sure. But it's the only barn owl we have. We're not interested in breeding the bird. So learning the gender isn't necessarily a priority. So undetermined.
How can you tell a barn owl from a winter owl?
From a snowy owl? Is that what you mean? Well, snowy owls tend to be kind of a uniform white all over with kind of the dark spots. The barn owl is kind of lead colored on the front, like you can see, on its belly and its chest and its face. But if you look at the back, it's got kind of those cinnamon, that cinnamon coloring and those little speckles in there. These guys are also pretty unique because of their call. A lot of people think owl, they think, oh, it must say hoot. Well, obviously this bird is kind of screeching. That's actually a juvenile begging call. The bird never outgrew. In the wild, as adults, they're usually pretty silent. When they do want to communicate with each other or with someone else, they'll make a very high-pitched, loud scream or shriek. To some people, it sounds kind of like a person screaming. So it's definitely something that will get your attention, and it's very distinctive. So that's kind of how they're different, because of their coloration and also the sounds they make. And these guys are named barn owls because that's one of the buildings that they sometimes can gain access to and use as a place to rest and even build a nest. They've been known to get into barns, church steeples, caves, hollow areas in trees, chimneys, all kinds of different places. This is definitely an adult bird. This one is about 5 going on 6 years of age. You can see the face is really nicely outlined. It's got that facial disc, that special area of feathers around the eyes. And that actually enables the bird to kind of direct sound to where it can be heard and processed. Their true ears are hidden underneath the feathers behind their eyes. You have a question here?
How much does this barn owl weigh?
This barn owl weighs between about 1 pound and 1.5 pounds. Your question?
Are you ever going to get another barn owl?
Well, probably not. That's not a priority for us. We don't necessarily have the space for another barn owl right now. And this is not a bird that would necessarily get along real well with another barn owl. It was rescued from the wild when it was quite young. Its nest had been destroyed. So actually, since it was raised by people, since people were its only chance for survival, it doesn't exactly know it's a barn owl. It kind of thinks that people are who are supposed to take care of it and provide it with food. So it probably wouldn't get along with another barn owl as well as it normally should. This is probably the only one we'll have for now.
The only time she sits still is when she's waiting for something about
It's just about time for us to get the barn owl on in. So if y'all do want to get a last picture opportunity, or if you have one last question, you're welcome to go ahead before we take the bird back to get some water to wash down those mice. Go ahead.
Does it have a name?
Just barn owl. We don't give it a name because it's not a pet. We want to make sure no one walks away today with the false impression that it is a pet. The only reason it's here at the zoo is because it doesn't have quite the right instincts to hunt on its own. If we tried to release the bird, one of the first things it would likely do would be find a person to supply it with food, something most people are not prepared to do. But otherwise, this bird definitely does not like to be touched. You can see it's already a little bit restless on the glove. If someone was to reach their hand toward it, it would be even more restless. And since it's the only barn owl we have, we don't have to worry about mixing it up with any other birds. We can say the barn owl, and we know exactly which bird we're talking about.